So let's create a fart folder. So hello everyone and welcome to yet another recreation programming session with Mr. Zozin. So today I decided to finally make something actually useful. Don't mind the band-aid, I just got in a fight with the Rust developers and I won, by the way. So what we're going to be doing today, I've got this idea, I've got this fucking epic idea. So this is going to be a website, right? So, and it's not going to have any background or anything like that. And it's going to have only one button at the center of the screen, which says click me. And when you click that button, it actually makes a fart noise and shakes a little bit. And the idea is that you can click on that button as many times as you want. Right, so we give you freedom to click as many times as you want, and all of that is for free. We're also not going to be using any cookies or anything like that. We're not going to be tracking our users because this is a privacy-oriented application. So, because I believe if you're using the fart application, right, for fart button, it has to be completely private. So we have to take security very, very seriously. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be making a fart button. So finally, a useful project. I'm being criticized all the time. Zozin, you're not making anything useful. Well, see, now I'm making something useful. Look at that. Yeah, fart button. There we go. So let's actually maybe create index.html. So let me see. So maybe I'm gonna go into HTML mode, by the way. So in HTML mode it's a little bit easier. So HTML, if I remember correctly, I haven't programmed in HTML for quite some time, chat, right? So I'm not really good with this programming language. So if I do not do something correctly, please tell me. Right, so this is going to be something like that. I think tag I. So this is going to be title, and let's say click me, right? So let's not expose what this application does right away in the title, right? So let's keep it sort of like a surprise. So this is going to be a surprise. Then we're going to have a body, and let's create a button, right? So, and the button is going to tell, say, click me. Right, and that's already pretty much finished application, right? So there we go. Here is the click me button. It's rather small because it's just a default button. So one of the things we probably have to do, we have to sort of like center it, right? So we need to center it somehow. So I need to remember how to do the freaking CSS. So let me do style, right? So this is going to be style. And I think I want to assign maybe an ID on the button. Let's call it click me. So this is going to be click me thingy and click me. Let me double check if it actually works, right? So if I do display none, it hides the button, right? So if I don't do display none, it actually is something like this. Okay, that's very cool. That's very cool. So let me maybe try to center it somehow. I don't quite remember how to center the div. But this is not a div, this is a button, right? So, but I mean, same shit, right? So, same shit. So if I remember correctly, you have to put like a 50% on the left and 50% on the top. I think that's what you're supposed to do. No, you don't have to do that. Maybe you have to do something like a position relative, right? Position relative, or it's only did that horizontally. What if I do position absolute? Position absolute. Oh, okay, so that's position absolute. But as far as I know, it actually put this thing in the center, right? So it's not like the button is centered, it's only the left top corner. Yeah, so if you zoom in, it's not actually centered, unfortunately. So not actually centered. If I remember correctly, CSS had something like transform. I think, yeah, there you go. There's also search assistant. DuckDuckGo also has this stupid ass assistant, which and one of the reasons why I quit using Google is because of their stupid ass AI assistant, but now DuckDuckGo even has that. So transform, yeah, you can do translate, I suppose. So let me do transform, and this is going to be translate. And if I remember correctly, it's just like a -half as well, right? So you just like move the whole thing into the center, and then you kind of move it back 50% or something, and that seems to be working, right? So that's button at the center. So click me, it's a button in the center, but in the default zoom it's kind of small, right? So does the transform allow me to scale? It does allow me to scale things. Oh, I can modify things. That's weird. I just tried to select it and it's modified it somehow. I don't fucking know what that means. But anyway, so this is going to be scale, and I want to actually scale it like twice, right? So if yeah, that's much better, right? So what about 4 times, right? So yeah, that's pretty cool. Maybe what about 8 times? I think it has to be rather big, right? So that's the default sort of scaling, right? So and it's rather big, as you can see, and we can take a look at the Chromium. So do we have, yeah, so this is how, oh yeah, I forgot I have a dark reader. I have a dark reader, but I think it's fine, right? So I think it's fine. It's kind of interesting. So, and this is a default button. That means on different platforms it's going to look slightly different, I suppose. But anyways, chat. So let's do a little bit of a scripting in here. So that should be pretty straightforward. So one cool thing about the browsers is that if you have an ID which is a valid JavaScript ID, you can actually do, like, you know, use that element directly without doing any document query by ID or whatever, right? So you don't even have to do any of that shit. So as you can see, where's the console? Here is the button. I just printed that specific button. So, and if I remember correctly, okay, so we can do click me, on click. Yeah, so it's a callback called on click, and I should be able to do something like on click. There we go. So, and then here we can maybe put something. So it's gonna be console hola, and here we can say something like fart, right? So that's what we're gonna have in here. So this is le fart, boom. But that doesn't actually produce any fucking sound, unfortunately. So we have to find some fart sound. Free fart sound. Please don't fucking bring any fetches to this website. Okay, so that's actually what the fuck is this? Alright, so I need headphones. My old falling apart headphones. So I'm gonna be listening like that. So right away we get a wet fart. It's too long, I think. It's too long. I had to actually stop it. So we need a short one. So this one looks like a short one. Actually, it's not even a real. It's just like, so they did it with the mouth, not with their anus. It's not a real fart, which is good. Okay, because of that, it's not that disgusting, right? So it's a very good one. So maybe I'm going to save the website where we get all of that. So the credits, so txt, fart sounds, right? So fart sounds, I'm gonna put it somewhere here. All right, so let me maybe grab le sound. So here is le sound. And how do you do audio? I do not quite remember. I remember that I did audio, I think in Coil, in one of my games, right? So we did a sound in there and we had to create like a sound element or something like that. So there was a client in here. So I think it was audio. Yeah, there you go. You create an audio like this. Okay, so can I just do, so this is going to be const fart new audio. And in here, I'm looking specifically for this sound. Right, so I'm looking specifically for this sound. And what do I do with it? Okay, so I created this specific sound, and how do I play it? Okay, so you can set the volume. Yeah, you can set the current time of this thing. So this is going to be current time, which is 0. So it's sort of like a cursor, right? So the time cursor. And then we can fart play, right? So we're playing le fart in here. All right, so that should be fine. If I now refresh the whole thing. There is a little bit of a delay, honestly, between the click and the between the absolute shit. Oops. There is a little bit of a delay between the clicks, so I think one of the things I would like to do is maybe fix it in Audacity. Audacity, there we go. So let's take a look at what we have. Absolute Cinema, yeah. Incompatible plugins, like I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So continue without the plugins and go away. So I can clearly see that I probably want to start from here, and let me just delete that. It doesn't play anything because Audacity is kind of stupid, is that it's incapable of properly playing sound on Linux, right? It always has a problem for with playback for whatever reason. I have no idea why. Let's actually export audio, and I want to export it maybe as FLAC actually, so it doesn't lose that much, you know, quality, especially since we're from MP3. I feel like if I save it again in MP3, it's gonna become even shadier. So let's not do that. But I'm actually not 100% sure if it's gonna like make it worse or better or anything. So. So let me put this thing as fixed, right, so this is going to be fixed, and let's actually go ahead and export. So now, wait, it created a folder? Why the fuck did it create a... Audacity is kind of stupid. Let's put it this way. Let's not say forbidden words. It's kind of stupid in many ways, actually, believe it or not. In many ways, it is insanely dumb. Right, so something like this, and I'm gonna just put it like that. Or maybe it's just me being dumb. Who fucking knows? But I said it, just save it somewhere. Don't save it. Okay. All right. So let me try to play it. I can't hear it, honestly, but yeah. Wait a second, maybe I just should unplug my headphones. Right, I should probably unplug my headphones, because it's going to echo. Alright, I'm so fucking sorry. So let's actually now use the fixed version, right? So we're gonna have a fixed, and it's gonna be flat. Right, so that's much better, right? So there's no delay in here, right? So there's no delay, and if I put something like that, fuck, I should probably move the JavaScript into a separate file. So this one has a delay, which is kind of annoying, right? Like, you don't want that, right? You don't want that delay. You want to have like a better feedback for your farts. That's much better feedback. So perfect. Add a reverb. Can you have effects in audio, by the way? So we can maybe even take a look at that. So if I do console log fart, let's actually take a look at that. So I actually have fart effects filters. No, I don't really know. You can buy mouse down for even faster fart response. Maybe we can even do something like that. Yeah. So that's actually a cool idea. Click me. So this is a click me on mouse down. All right. So on mouse down. All right. That even feels better, honestly. That even feels better. It's just like instant response. Okay, that's cool. But that's not enough, honestly. That is not enough. I wanted to actually shake. Right, so it's just like you have some sort of like audio feedback on a click, right? So you have audio feedback, but I feel like you need to have like a visual feedback as well. So how can we do that? For instance, if I subtract 1% from here, that's already too much. If I subtract like 1 pixel, this is not the math that you can easily do, apparently. Okay, so let me see. If I take a look at click me, right, so do I have, so style, maybe style, and it does have left. All right, so this is a left. Can I add +1? 2 or 100? Doesn't really update the style. So probably 50% -1 is -50%. Oh, I probably have to do something like a 2 pixels. I see. If I set 50%, it's actually, okay, so that's kind of stupid. Okay, 1%. We're onto, okay. Chat, I think we are onto something. So 49%. Okay, so here is an idea. What if we have like a vector that randomly just changes X and Y position and sets that X and Y position like through the style? So let's give it a try. But what we need to do that, I think we need to actually do this update on each frame, right? So we need to do this update on each frame. So that means we need to schedule the frames, right? So window request animation frame, I think that's what it is. Request animation frame, there we go. So this is a request animation frame. And in here, if I'm not mistaken, I don't quite remember. So does it accept some parameters? Does it accept some parameters? I think it accepts the timeout. So this is a callback, and yeah, so there is a timestamp. I'm not sure if we need timestamp right now, but we may need it in the future. You know what? Let's actually move that into a separate file because I want to have some sort of like a more or less nice highlighting. Right? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it would be kind of nice to just have a proper file with the code. So this is going to be src index.js, and let's actually put it like that. Okay, so that's cool. Right, it still works. Cool. So request animation frame console log. We can put frame in here, right? So we can put frame. If I refresh, it says only one frame, which also means that I have to request the next animation frame. So which means I probably have to do something like this, all right? So I need to have this as a separate function, right? So I have to have this as a separate function, and I have to constantly request myself, which probably also means that I have to make it as a function like this, right? So it gets hoisted and stuff like that, but maybe it will work with the fat arrow functions as well. Okay, so if we try to run the whole thing, it actually keeps doing that. So let's not do that thing anymore, right? So we're not printing any frames in here. And we need to actually decide like how we're going to be doing all of that. So there should be some sort of a maybe indication that we're currently shaking, right? So as of right now, we're not shaking, right? We're not freaking shaking. But if we're going to be shaking, so if we're going to be shaking, what we have to do, I believe, is just like adjust the left and top position of the button randomly. That's what we have to do. So as far as I know, like in math, you have a random thing. It's a value from 0 to 1, which might be actually good enough for what I'm trying to do in here. So, but I actually want to be offset from left and right a little bit. So that means it has to be a value that goes from a negative value to a positive value. One thing we can do in here, we can multiply it by 2 and actually subtract 1. So periodically it may become negative, right? So it's just basically from -1 to 1 or something like that. So, and this is a math random. Okay, so 0 minus 1. And then maybe we want to add the 50, so that will give us some sort of like a percent. So let's actually put it into X, and this one is probably going to be const, and this is going to be Y. And in here, what I can do, I can take the click me, and I can take its style, and I can take its left, and let's actually literally just put something like X%, and this is going to be, you know, top Y%, something like this. I think this is how we do that, right? I don't quite remember. So if I put 5 in here, I think I had to, yeah, so I have to put $ in here. I don't remember JavaScript. I'm not a JavaScript developer, unfortunately, chat. Or maybe fortunately, it depends on how you look at it. It depends on how you look at it, chat. So, okay. And now, as we're shaking, so when I do on mouse down, right, so what I have to do is I have to set shaking to true. So as of right now, it's just that, but then I do shaking equal to true. Shaking is equal to true, and it's kind of working, but you also need to stop shaking, right? So you also need to stop shaking. So how can we start? Okay, so I have an idea. Usually how I do this kind of stuff in games. The way I do this kind of stuff in games is this value is actually a float. Well, I mean, you don't have to put F in here. So it's actually a float, and you're only shaking if float is greater than 0. So as of right now, it is not going to be shaking. So then what you do is you effectively subtract delta time. We don't really have delta time right now, but we will, don't worry about that. We subtract delta time. So, and essentially, if you want to initiate an animation, you set the duration of the animation to that variable. The animation is playing and decreasing. So that means for a single second, it's going to be shaking and decreasing its counter, and then it's going to stop shaking. Timestamp is delta time. It's not delta time. As far as I know, it's an absolute value since something. Right, so the delta time is something that you have to compute yourself, right? If I remember correctly. So essentially what we have to do in here is that we have to save the previous timestamp. Right, so we have to save the previous timestamp. And essentially what we do, the delta time in our case is going to be the current timestamp minus the previous timestamp, and then the previous timestamp becomes the current timestamp. So that's the delta time, and it's not even in seconds. If I remember correctly, it is in milliseconds. So one of the things we probably have to do in here is just divide it by 1,000. Right. So because this is like the usual pitfall that I fall into. Right. So every time I'm using JavaScript. So kind of know what to expect. So and in here, something interesting is that maybe one thing we can do in here is just have a first frame that just saves the previous timestamp. So we're kind of skipping the first frame, and only then we're scheduling the main frame in here, right? Something like that. So this is the first one which saves the timestamp, and then we'll keep playing the whole thing. So it's going to be 1 second, but we have to kind of adjust this entire stuff for the duration of the sound. 1 second is too much, as you can see. 1 second is too much. So what we have to say, let's actually see, maybe it has to be a quarter of a second. All right, so 25. So I think quarter of a second is going to be fine. So yeah, there's probably an audio and callback. That's a good point, by the way. That's a good point. So we can actually see, but here is the thing. We'll probably have to adjust the you know, the audio again, right? Because it goes for way too long. As you can see, if you take a look at the waveform, it's already finished, but then it keeps going. So that means it will keep shaking. But having, like, stopping it on a certain callback, I think it's a good idea. I think it's a generally good idea. So let's actually go ahead and try to explore this particular aspect of the audio API. So this is going to be fart on can play, on stop, on finished, on on blur, okay, on drag, on drop, on duration change, on ended. Okay, so fart on ended. And so what we can do in here is probably fart on ended, right? So, and let's actually print something on ended. Console log fart ended sadga. All right, so let's see what we're gonna do in here. So, and it keeps incrementing this entire thing. So it, yeah, so we can detect that actually. So which means that we can go back to shaking being Boolean, right? So that means if it's true, right, so we do something like that, and we don't update shaking, right? So we just do that. We set shaking to true, we should say shaking to true, and then we do shaking false when the fart has ended, right? So that's kind of the idea. As soon as the fart ended, we stop shaking. So as you can see, what I said, there's an extra trail in there. There's an extra trail, and we need to get rid of that. So let me quickly get rid of this flag, open the original one, right? So, and we're going to be editing the original one, so to not, reduce the quality every time we save it. So this is roughly, I think, roughly somewhere here. So we remove that. And then roughly somewhere maybe here, we remove that. So now if I try to export this entire thing, let's export the audio. So the file name is fixed. This one is fixed. And let's make sure that we put it somewhere in the fart. So this is that, this is folder, this is all of this. Okay, let's export the whole thing. And here it is exported. So if I go into the index.js, here it is. All right, that's pretty cool. Let's close this thing. Now, if I refresh, honestly, this is kind of perfect, right? So, and we don't need any animation, and it's going to be tailored towards any sound. So we can swap out the sound, and it still will look nice. I'm sorry, it still will sound nice. Let's actually test that on some other farts. Right, so this is the fart that we used. So this is a nice one. It's kind of a, you know how to say, there is a little bit of a friction with this fart. It's just like, it doesn't feel, relieving. So I don't like this one. It doesn't evoke good, vibes. I think this is a good one. All right, so let's actually download this one. A good fart vibes, exactly. All right, so let me see what we have in here. So this is going to be that one, and I'm going to put it in here. So let's take a look at the audio waveform. Yeah, so we need to probably get rid of all of this shit. So because it's too much. And it ends roughly here, right? So because we want the shaking to be, perfect according to the sound. So let's also do the exporting. Export the audio, and this one is going to be fixed. So this is the fixed version of that one. Okay, so we got this one. Let's actually test it out. Index.js, and so we don't need this one, I believe. So this one is a little bit more wet than the previous one. So it's a little bit more wet. So this is going to be this fart. Okay, so let's actually put it like that. And let me refresh. Okay, here's another thing, is that when it stops shaking, I think we also have to set the whole thing to 50%, back to 50%, because it just stops at a really weird, awkward position, in my opinion. So this one could be click me style left 50% to the original 50%, and this is going to be top also 50%. Let's align all of these things. Okay, so let's give it a try. Okay, this one is a little bit longer. This one is a little bit longer, and because of that, it shakes longer, right? So because of that, it shakes longer. So if we go back to the shorter fart, right? It's shorter. It's a nice and short one. And then, so you can think of this one as like a crete. It's a crete fart. It's a crete fart. So maybe we could randomize the sounds somehow. Maybe we could randomize them. So which means that it kind of makes sense to turn this thing into more of an array of audios, more of an array of farts, if you know what I mean. Right, so this is more of an array of farts. This is the, yeah, this is the small one, this is a crete one. Maybe I should actually write them sort of like down. So this one is regular, right, this one is regular, and this one is a crete, right, so this is some sort of a crete. Yeah, this is a regular, and this is more like a crete. And what we probably need to do, by the way, we have to assign this callback on each individual fart, right? So we have to assign it on each individual fart. I wonder how I can do that. Can I do a let fart of farts? Is that how you do that? So you're iterating all of the objects, right? So if I remember correctly, console log fart. fart of farts. That's kind of funny in here. So after property ID, so fart. So that's what it's supposed to be. So it's 2. It doesn't like this kind of. Oh, this is because it's not an array. I apologize for that. It's not an actual array. It's not an actual array. Okay, cool. Yeah, okay, so that seems to be working. So which means that now we can do fart on ended, and we can just assign this specific thing in here. Right, so this is basically a callback. This is basically a callback. Maybe, so we don't need this stuff in here. And to be fair, maybe we should have this as a separate function, right? So we should have it as a separate function. So end fart, or maybe let's call it finish fart. Finish fart, and it's just stop the shake. Stop the shake. Because of that, I want to put this thing in here, but maybe I don't have to do that because it's hoisted, as the web developers like to say, right? So it is hoisted. Okay, so now I'm gonna put something like finish fart. Is it hoisted? I think it is hoisted. Okay. Now let me take a look at this kind of stuff. So okay, so fart is not defined. So what we have to do now, every time you click on this thing, we have to pick a random fart. We have to pick a random fart. So can math random be equal to 1? Exactly 1 sometimes. Is there any documentation, JavaScript math random? Is there any documentation specifically for that? Not defined subget. It's fine, don't worry about it. We're gonna define it soon. We're gonna define it soon. It can be fine. Any documentation and less than 1. Less than 1. So, but maybe that's fine in our case. Because what we can do, we can divide, like multiply it by 2, exactly how many of these things we have, and then we can floor them, right? So that's basically, and it's going to be either 0 or it's going to be either 1. So that's usually how we're going to be going about that. So anyways, yeah, so it's going to be farts math random multiplied by farts count, I'm sorry, length, math length, and then we floor it like that, and then we just say, yeah, we can maybe do something like this: fart index, and this is a fart index, and it's going to be current time equal to 0, right? And then we just start playing fart index. Okay, so let's give it a try. Farts is not did they say frats? So wait, what? Oh, here it is. I can see that. I can actually see that. Farts. Let's give it a try. Man, wait a second. This is genius. It has to be small farts at the beginning. So small farts at the beginning, and then it should crit. So the combo breaker. This is fun. Okay. So how the fuck the crit one is actually less likely? At least it feels less likely. So maybe we should have set its probability. Maybe we should have set its probability somehow. But okay, so that's kind of interesting. What we should do, what I'm thinking is that, let's start like this. Let's think about it from the sort of like a design perspective or UX perspective. This is your first impression of the website, right? So, and it's a big button that says click me, right? So what you're gonna do, obviously, like on the internet, on the modern internet, everyone will suspect some sort of a trick, right? So, but at the same time, everyone has a curiosity, like what the fuck is going to happen? What the fuck is going to happen? You give in to curiosity, and this is what you get. So there should be something after that. So there should be something after that. Maybe after the first sort of click, what we do we essentially change the button in here, the text of the button to something. So click me. Can I change the value? So hello. Is it not the value, or I think it's an inner text? Yeah, so I think it's an inner text. Yeah, I can say hello. Okay, so what if we do the following thing? Click me, inner text. So we're gonna say in here, got you, haha, haha, something like that. Got him. Yeah, maybe got him. Well, but maybe got you is actually better. Right, so. And what's interesting is that some people may continue clicking just purely out of spite. I've got an idea. What if you continue clicking and after like 5 times we say something like, oh, you into that? So we need to actually put like have some sort of like a counter. Let's have a counter. So it's gonna start with 0, and every time you click, right, so we increment the counter, right? So, and initially it's gonna be just got you, right? So, and then after counter, let's say 5, right? So after it's 5, we're gonna say something like, so, oh, you're into that. So something like that. Okay, so from the UX perspective, right? So you have a first chuckle, right? So you have a first chuckle. You continue clicking. Wait, what if it's going to be one of these things that the more you click, the more it kind of reveals different sort of like a Easter eggs? Right, so... So, oh, you into that, and it's just like you keep clicking, right, and at some point, maybe, at some point, it should do the crit, right? It should do the crit. So if counter is greater than like 10, if it is greater than 10, we have to do something like this, right? So, or you into that. So you unlocked the crit fart. You unlocked the crit fart. So in here we have to actually play a different one. So right now, this is yeah, this one is rather interesting. So this is more of a regular. So this is going to be a regular fart. So this is a regular fart, and I'm going to put it in here, a regular fart. And this one is going to be a crit fart. Const crit fart. So this is that audio. Let's put it like this. So crit fart, and I kind of want to just have it because one of the things I do is just like I register all of the callbacks in here, and I think it's kind of important to have that as an array. But then at the same time, it's kind of nice to just like refer to them by name. But maybe because of that, it has to be some sort of like a hash map, so we can refer to them by specific names. So in here, instead of doing this kind of stuff, so I suppose what we have to do is just like on each of the instance, we have to play different things, right? So in here, we're gonna have a regular, so it's a regular fart, right? So this is a regular. In this case, oh, you into that, it's a regular fart. Then here we do the crit fart, right? So we do the crit fart, something like that. So crit fart. Okay, so something weird has happened, but anyway. So got you. I feel like it has to be 3 actually. I think it has to be 3. So it feels like it has to be 3. I think it's not really crits. Oh, we need to have pop-ups. Holy, okay, so yeah. So we need to have some sort of a pop-ups, I think, like, but I don't know how to design them. So since I already do everything in absolute, right? So this is a position absolute. Maybe a pop-up could be also a position absolute, right? So let me just put some stuff in here. So this is going to be div, and this is going to be div, and it's a pop-up. Right, so something like this. So this is a pop-up, and it doesn't really matter where I put that pop-up. So pop-up ID, and for the pop-up, we're going to, let me set the background of the pop-up to something like red, because I want to be able to see. Is that how we do that, or is that a color? Or something else. Okay, so CSS div background without quotes. You think without quotes? I remember that you could do that with the quotes. Let me actually close this one. Okay, so the color is the text, and this has to be the background. There we go. So this is what I wanted to see in here. This is what I wanted to see. So because of that, can I set the width to, I don't freaking know, something like 25%, 25%, yeah, so 25% width, and maybe height is going to be also 25%. Well, it doesn't really work that easily, but anyways, so I want to set the position absolute here as well, all right? So, and that actually sets the height properly. So, which means that I can now kind of regulate the actual sort of size in here. So I think this is for a size of a pop-up is rather nice. I think it is rather nice. So, and within the position of that pop-up, we can say that maybe left is going to be 10% and top is going to be also 10%. Okay, so something like that. What I'm thinking is, like, where does it have to be? Does it have to be maybe somewhere here in the left at the bottom? I see fart I laugh. Well, so here is this is what we're making. For anyone who just joined, this is the kind of application we're making, right? So honestly, you know, maybe, so speaking of the pop-ups, maybe all of these texts have to be in a pop-up, right? And the text of the button has to be click me all the time, and all of the events they're just pop-ups. I think it kind of makes sense, probably. The screen shake would be fun on the screen, but how do you do the screen shake? Because that's like, we are confined within the browser. We're confined within the browser, and the shake of the button is not distinguishable from the shake of the screen because there's no reference point. So Minecraft style is just okay. Minecraft style is basically here on the right. Honestly, maybe somewhere here on the right would be actually better. So let's actually put it like that. But anyway, so some sort of a pop-up event. How can I do that? So it has to be left 100% minus the width, which is basically minus 50, which is 85, right? So it has to be something like 85% on the left. So that's actually better. So maybe even 85. So I can see something weird. I can see something weird. I can see them interacting kind of with each other, right? So if I put 50%, right, or I put 10%, I think I saw something. So I don't really know what was that. Right, I felt like it was interacting with the button in a way that I didn't like. So no, maybe that's fine. Maybe that's fine. Okay, so top is going to be 10%. So something like that. And what about 85%? It's too much. What about 80%? So Yeah, and in that case, maybe we can make it even, and this is going to be 5%. I really like percents because they kind of, yeah, they kind of do things like that. They kind of change the, or maybe that's not a good idea actually. The fact that pop-up changes like this is probably not a great idea, in my opinion. It's probably not a great idea. But anyway, so this is something that we're doing right now. Okay, and by the way, so all of that originally is in a bright theme. So I'm really sorry for flashbanging, but so this is something that needs to be kept in mind when we do the pop-ups. So anyway, so the pop-up, when I do the text, so CSS text align. Can we align the text a little bit? Can we align the text? Could you shake the whole browser window? Is that even possible in web? Does Web API allow you to modify the position of the browser? That sounds kind of scary. But on the other hand, back in my days, the browser, the web application being able to manipulate your clipboard also sounded kind of crazy, but now it does work like that. You can shake the body, but we don't have a reference of the frame. Okay, so people just suggesting things. All right, whatever. So text align center. What if I align text to center? Right, okay, so this is something that we have. And one of the things I want to be able to do with the text is that I want to actually center it, you know, here vertically, which probably means I need to employ that trick one more time, right? So maybe that's what I have to do. Div within this thing, and this one is going to be, I don't know, something like a pop-up text, right? So this is a pop-up text, pop-up text. So, and in here, so let's not center anything. Let's not center anything. So this is going to be position absolute shooting, badgering. So, and maybe we can like just literally copy paste the whole thing in here. Am I a good web developer for doing this kind of stuff this way? Because it kind of makes sense. Oh, fuck. Shit. Fuck. Damn. How did that happen? Wait a second. So I think I fucked up something really, really badly. So what if I remember correctly, the commenting out of CSS is something like this. And, okay. So, oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot to put this thing in here. I apologize. Thank you so much. Yeah, so now it works, and now I can comment it out. So I probably have to use some flex shit. But why? I don't want to. Honestly, I just like don't feel like using flex stuff, right? So it's just like it's kind of complicated, and I really don't want to learn it. I really don't want to learn it. So anyways, so what we, yeah, I wanted to move the CSS file, the CSS to a separate file. So let's actually have something like main CSS, not main CS, but main CSS, like this. And I'm gonna move this entire thing to the file because I want to have some sort of a highlighting, and just generally it's better to keep it in a separate file, so it's not in a single HTML file. So I don't quite remember how you include the CSS into HTML. Include CSS into HTML. Include CSS into HTML, and it's this one, right? So it's a link, rel, and so on and so forth. So this is the main CSS. We're gonna put it in here. So all of that is separate files. So here is the sort of like a structure. This is the, you know, view, the representation, and this is the logic, right? So we separated everything nicely. As you can see, everything seems to be working. Okay. So the thing that I kind of don't like about the button, and why, one of the reasons why I wanted to move all of these things to like a pop-up, is that when you change the text, it changes the shape of the button, and that's kind of annoying. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of annoying, right? So what I wanted to, like, if I want to be changing the text, I want the shape of the button to stay the same, right? I think I want to stay the same. So does it mean, can I, for example, for the button, I can say width is going to be, I don't know, 50 pixels, and height, will it stay the same? Since it's a position absolute, I feel like it will. Right, so in here we can maybe even set something like 10% and 10%. So something like 10%. Okay, that's a little bit too big. So this is because we scaled it. So that explains it. So if we just tune down the scaling just a little bit, I think that's a little bit better. So, and in terms of height, I think it's a little bit too high. Yeah, so that's much better, I believe. So for now, let's hide the display, hide the pop-up, right? So this is going to be the button. Okay, this is exactly what I wanted. Okay, so this is exactly what I wanted. As the text changes, it doesn't modify the shape of the button. Yes. So, and by the way, maybe it makes sense for me to actually reduce the size of the whole thing. I think this is a perfect size, chat. This is the perfect size, and we don't need pop-up for changing this thing. Right, so got you. Right. Or you into that. You into that. What I'm thinking also, by the way, is that what if we turn this into like a cookie clicker game? Could we make it like a cookie clicker game? Right, so it's like the whole point is to actually click it as many times as possible. Fart clicker, exactly, fart clicker. So what I'm thinking is that maybe after something like 5, counter greater than 5, what we're gonna start doing actually is we're gonna start showing you the current counter, right? Something like this, and we can put this stuff in here. You broke it. So this starts to feel like some sort of a table, right? I feel like this particular table has to be maybe modified somewhere. And by the way, so we have to check that in a very specific order. Right, so first we check for the bigger values, then smaller and smaller, and downwards to the smaller value. Right, so, okay, so let me refresh that. Got you. You into that. Okay, so if it's actually equal to 10, right, if it's actually equal to 10. So another thing we can do is that if counter greater than 10, we're gonna do something like JK keep going, and this is gonna be not a crit fart, but more like a regular one, and you just continue doing this kind of thing. Ah, fuck, I broke something. I literally broke it. So talking else, yeah, I forgot to open this entire thing. And okay, so this one, I don't really like that. Yeah, I should probably not use percents, by the way. So yeah, percents are kind of mid in this specific case. Look at that. So this is the percents. This is what percents do to you. This is the percents would do to you. Okay, so. So what's going to be the next milestone? Maybe 50? Maybe 50, actually. Honestly, like every milestone could be the crit fart. Every milestone has to be the crit fart. So 4269. 42 is not that interesting, but maybe 69 could be interesting. You unlock reverb after 50. We could do that. We could do that as well. I want to kind of maybe refactor this entire thing so it's kind of easy to debug it, because as we add more and more bonuses, more and more different things, we literally will have to click through all of that stuff, right? So it will be kind of nice to have like a table of events, right? So essentially, which also like tells you table, and in here, what we can have is some sort of a, I think it has to be more of a like an array, right? So it's more of an array, and on count, let's say 5, we're gonna have text, which is this one is really interesting because text may take into account the environment, for example, the counter, right? So it may take into account the environment. So because of that, I feel like it has to be a function, right? So like, for example, we can take a look at this thing on 3, for example, greater than 3. That means we're going to say it's going to be on 4. We have to say, or you into that, right? So this is going to be something like that. Maybe I'm going to even open that in a separate window. So you into that, and the sound is going to be a regular fart. So this is basically the table I want to have, right? So the count, the current count, the text that you need to display, and the sound that you have to play, something like this. But maybe they have to be more like callbacks, because you may want to actually do more complicated logic on different milestones. So yeah, we can just have it as an action, and within that action, you already do different things like click me, so inner text, and so we have to open it like that, and sound regular fart. I'm not really a huge fan that we have to set the current time and then play it, because it's a 2 statements. I would like it to be like a single statement, if you know what I'm saying, but maybe it's fine, actually, maybe it's fine. So, and we have this kind of table, and the reason, another reason why I wanted to have it as a table is that because I want to kind of reorder them. Because you have to check these conditions in a descending order. So if I put that in the table, I will be able to actually sort that table before using it, right? And then as a user, as a programmer, I'll be able to reorder the whole thing. Right, so I think that's much better. Maybe generalize to a function which they all kind of same time and then play. I can kind of do that, right? So we can have a function like a play fart, and then I get the fart, and that fart specifically just current time 0, and just play or something. So we can kind of do it like that. Play fart. So thank you for the suggestion. Something like this. So it just makes it a little bit easier. So let's actually move all of that logic to the table, right? So that means in here we want to have something like on count, which is going to be 6, right? Which is going to be 6, and action in this specific case is going to be you into that with the counter, right? With the counter, but we'll also keep playing the regular fart. There we go. So then when it's equal to 10, on count 10, the action is going to be you broke it, right? Inner text, you broke it, and it's still with the counter, and we play the fart, which is a crit fart, right? So we play the fart, which is a crit fart. Now, the last one, if it's greater than 10, right, or for example, not really greater, but it's on 11 now, on count 11, let's do the action, which is just a regular fart, but you keep going. So play fart, regular fart. So this is the table that I want to have in here, right? This is the table. And now I want to sort that table. I remember that there is some sort of a, like a fucky wackiness with sorting in JavaScript. Right, so 3, 4, 69, 2, 420. Can I just sort the whole thing? And yeah. Classic. Fuck. Classic JavaScript. Classic JavaScript. So yeah, JavaScript sort array. So how do you do that? So you have to provide a comparator. Oh right. Oh, so yeah, this is the classical thing. Like why the fuck people would do that? Honestly, it's so weird. Table sort, and you provide the two values in here, a and b, a and b, and a and b, and a and b, and e. So what we do is essentially, maybe we can even do that in line, and it's on count minus b on count, right? And after that, I want to do console, hola. So console log table. By the way, chat, is there any way in JavaScript to quit the current file? You know what I'm saying? So essentially, I want to skip the execution until the end of the file. Is there any way to say like a return or quit or something like? Is there any way to do this kind of thing? A window close? No. I want it continue in like to the next file or whatever. I don't want to throw exceptions or anything, but I guess one way I can do that is just basically comment out the whole thing, but maybe it doesn't matter, right? So let's just let it be. So yeah, so we have in here syntax literal something at 18. Yeah, I forgot to put equals in here, by the way. I forgot to put equals, and there you go. So is it sorted correctly? Yes, it is sorted in ascending order, but for my comparison, I actually sort them in descending order, which means I probably have to do something like this. Right, so I need them in the, yeah, there we go. So this is a descending order. So now, what I want to do in here is I want to iterate all of these things, right? So we can have something like element, or maybe event in table, events table. Right, let's call it events table. Events table, and let's remove this entire thing. So this is an events table. We're iterating the whole thing, and it actually has to be off. Right, if event in events table on count is greater or equal than counter, we are supposed to do event action. So, and then probably break out of the loop, right? So we start with the biggest one, right? And we check if the counter is greatly bigger or equal to that event, and we fire that event. So that's how I want it to actually operate. So now I don't have to deal with this entire if-else stuff. Now I can just deal with this thing, and I can actually reorder them, right? However I want, it's going to be automatically sorted properly on counts. So I think that's actually kind of good. Yeah. Why not exact quality? Maybe it would be better on exact quality. You're right, maybe. We already kind of do the on exact quality. So yeah, I think you're right. So, and because of that, we don't need to sort that anymore, right? So we actually don't need to sort anything in here. So let's remove that. And maybe on count 0, right? On count 0, we can also do something, which is play nothing but set the text to click me, right? Click me, something like that. So for, do we have gotchu? So that means, oh yeah, this one is interesting. So that means we also have to have the event for one value. So this is a regular fart. Don't play any fart on the first one. Don't play any fart on the first one. And on count 1, So this is the action. This is the action. We play the fart, and then we say, "Got you, haha, got you." Click me, got you. Then we have that. So for we say, "Oh, you into that," and then "Oh, you into that" with a counter. Then you broke it. Then you say, "JK, keep going." So interestingly, by the way, I feel like the shaking is a little bit too much. Maybe it has to be something like in pixels, but maybe that's fine. Maybe that's fine. So let me just test how the entire thing even works, right? So it seems to be working, right? That got you intensifies. Got you intensifies. What does it even do? It didn't even print any error or anything. Yeah, on the next one, it just can't do anything. So we do the counter, we go through all of the events, and if the counter is one of these things, it's supposed to play an action and then just break out of that, but I'm not really sure. So this is that. That's why, so here is the answer. That's why I want you to do greater than, right? So because I want this thing to fire. Okay, so thank you so much for whoever asked that. Here is the answer. That's why I want to be greater or equal, right? Because I wanted to fire on each individual between these things. Okay, so that's a good one. So it's a good reality check. It's a good reality check. And because of that, we still need to sort this entire thing. We still need to sort it. So let's go ahead and do that. So sort. You see, we're learning things. We're learning things. This is good. Okay, so it's going to be B on count. Less than A on count, like this. All right, so event stable. So this is that. Is that because I did a fucky wacky with order? I think I feel like I did. It's going all over the place. So yeah, that's definitely a broken thing. That's definitely a broken thing. So I'm not quite sure what even happening in here. One thing I would like to maybe have is to just say, okay, fire events. So this is a fire events, and this is what we want to have in here. So counter +1 fire events, right? So fire events, and this is going to be something like this. So here we do the actual events. We iterate through the events in event table, and if the counter is greater or equal to the counter, we perform the action. So, and the reason why I want to do that is because at the beginning, I also want to fire events for the first time. I'm just firing events for the first time, but it just sets click me. And by the way, that click me needs something like this, right? So it needs the, exclamation mark. So did I have something? Well, I mean, that specific thing in here is not really that important, but maybe it is, who knows? X is not defined, 39. Yep, so that's another one. Got you. Maybe got you has to be for a little bit longer. Well, I mean, yeah. So it set itself on 2. It set itself on 2, but it has to fire off at 4. So what's up with that? What's up with that? So because we're iterating through all of these things, counter, yeah, it has to be this one. Thank you so much. No, count greater or equal. Let me. Now that's proper. And now it shows the counter. So on count, I don't know, 15. By the way, I have an idea. Play fart should also set shaking to true. Shaking true. There you go. So because that's kind of the whole point. That's kind of the whole point. So on end, we also have to set these kind of things. Yeah, I'm not sure how to organize this entire stuff, but yeah. So you play fart, you also set shaking, and on 15 we have to say something else in here. We have to say something else in here. Okay, having fun. Regular fart. Alright, so I kind of don't like this one. Yeah, let's put it like this. Okay. So, you know, this is just a fart button. Okay, is that too much? So something like maybe 5. It doesn't do anything but farts. So the thing is, like, don't like so far is that as the list of events grows, it becomes kind of difficult to troubleshoot them, right? You know what I'm saying? We need a way to sort of jump forward somehow. So what's the current state? Can I just say, so we do fire events, right? So the counter currently is 0. So here's the counter and it is 0. And then we fire events for the first time. Can we set the counter to something like 15 at the beginning here? Yeah, it's kind of interesting. So what we say in here is please fire events on mouse down. But that's kind of bizarre. So what if I set the counter to 15 in here? Will that work? I'm not sure why it doesn't play sound and keeps shaking. I think I know why. Because the sound has not loaded yet. Yeah, so because they load asynchronously, if I remember correctly. They do in fact load asynchronously, and because of that you can't really play them easily. So let me see. So on code exception, the play method is not allowed by the user agent platform in the current context, possibly because the user denied permission. I see what it's all about. It's not about like loading. It's essentially in a normal proper browser, you cannot play sound until you have a click event. Exactly. You guys know what it's all about. You know what it's all about. There is one evil thing that Google does with YouTube. Do you guys know? Do you guys know what like Google does with Chromium and stuff like that? They literally had coded the condition on YouTube. If you are on Chrome and you are on YouTube, they force click and it doesn't require specifically on YouTube, right? So according to the web standards, there should be no autoplay of sounds on any of the web page, on any of the browser, and Chromium follows that except one fucking website, which is YouTube. Fuck you, Google. Fuck you. The most evil fucking company out there. The most fucking evil company. Fuck you, Google. So, seriously. They say don't like it, make your own browser. Well, people are doing. So yeah, and Firefox actually follows that. Firefox actually follows that, and I respect that. So that's kind of cool. Google denied it, so they supplied it. Yeah. Alrighty. All right. So what can we just use Chromium, and can we redirect localhost to YouTube or YouTube to localhost? When I open YouTube, it actually starts opening. Maybe like. Do you have like a about config? Yeah. Whatever. So autoplay. Autoplay allowed. Well, I don't really know. Extension blocking policy. So default is 1, but I'm not even sure if that's the thing. But whatever. So I wanted to. I really don't like that it is like that. Honestly, I really don't like it. The play method is not allowed by the agent. Right. So can we catch that somehow? Can we catch that somehow? We should be able to catch that. Okay, so play fart. And so try, right, and then here we have to do catch, and we have to suppress it. Okay, so can we distinguish the kind of the exception? Right, so let's do console log. All right. Where did that happen exactly? Fart play, yeah. So, am I doing that incorrectly? I said catch that, and it didn't fucking catch that. I can't wait for the Ladybird release. Well, yeah, that would be kind of cool. Okay, so JavaScript try catch. Am I doing that incorrectly? Am I being stupid, chat? Am I being stupid? It's kind of weird because yeah, that's how you do that, and it holds the script. You never get to the catch. Oh, but then why does it say that? That is dumb. That is absolutely dumb. Well, yeah, okay, so maybe that's fine. Let's just let it be like this for a while. So what we're gonna be doing is just like you have to click, right? So you have to click and you can continue debugging, right? So you can continue debugging. So you know is too big, in my opinion. Dude, this is just a far button. Okay, so that's fine. So that means I can actually now control where I start the whole thing. For example, I want to start somewhere from 20, right? So don't forget to set to 0 on release. Okay, so this is kind of important, right? So because this is purely for the debugging purposes. This is purely for the debugging purposes. Okay, this is just a fart button. It does not do anything but farts. Okay, so basically we're gonna have a little bit of an episode of a fart button trying to convince you that it's kind of pointless to click it, right? So it's kind of like a breaking the fourth wall a little bit. It's just like, okay, you clicked it this amount of, like, it's kind of useless. You're not gonna get anything. Obviously, you're gonna get something, at least an interaction with the fart button, but the fart button has to sort of like try to convince you, maybe you should stop. It's kind of like you're not getting anything out of that, while the counter is kind of incrementing, right? So that's kind of the idea, right? So it's just like the first episode is just like fart button trying to convince you that you should not click it, right? So you should not click it. And we need to do that up until some sort of some sort of a threshold, right? A sort of threshold, 30 times, maybe 50 times. You can't handle before, yeah. Some sort of like 50 times. After certain thresholds, you probably unlock more complicated game mechanics, right? So you might unlock the crits, right? So which actually increment the counter sort of like more than just one, right? So maybe 5, right? So you get 5 points, right? So, and maybe we can go into automation of farting. So it's basically, at the beginning, it looks like a stupid joke website, but as you keep clicking, the game evolves in its mechanic and turns into cookie clicker. I think it's too ambitious. I think I will never implement that, but it's kind of a funny premise, I think. New fart unlocks. Maybe we should reduce this is too much of a scope, honestly. This is too much of a scope. We should reduce the scope to something more reasonable. Maybe you have to click it 100 times, right? So we can develop some mechanics for 100 times, and after 100 times, it basically goes to the original thing. So just like it loops back. New game plus. You know what I'm saying? Sort of like a new game plus. Auto farts should be quieter, yeah, probably. So, okay, so the things that I don't like right now, it's shaking too violently, and the shakiness kind of depends on the resolution, which is probably fine, right? So, but regardless of the resolution, I think we should tune it down a little bit, right? So because it's kind of difficult to read what is it saying, right? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of difficult to read. Or, and here is the kicker, maybe the text should stay static. The text should stay static, but it's the button that should shake. Will that look good? Will that look good? I'm not really sure. And how would you even approach implementing something like that? So does it have to be a button without the text? Right, and then you put text on top somehow? Is that how we do that? So we can give it a try. So because like I really don't like that it's difficult to read the text as it's shaking. So I really don't like that. Okay, so let me maybe try to do something in here. So index.html. But I feel like nobody really does things like that, right? Nobody tries to keep the text static and make the button shake. Like it's kind of not the use case in the web. It's like it's only for this specific game. Maybe one of the things we could do, we could start using canvases, so to have more flexibility in how we display things. Speaking of displaying, as the game progresses, we can also change the you know, the appearance of the button. Maybe the button will turn into canvas, and maybe we'll start having gradients, and maybe at some point it's gonna be WebGL canvas with shaders and stuff. Different skins for the button, holy fuck. Well, but I mean, imagine like this thing literally being a shader and it changes appearance as you like move your cursors through this entire thing. Right, so ray tracing for buttons. The button turns into a button, yeah, so, but anyway. So if I'm gonna have like this kind of thing, right, so if I'm gonna have this kind of thing, so we can say it's a label, right? So for now I'm gonna comment it out, but then I can set it to that. All right, so the thing about the script is that it automatically sets the text of the button, so we have to do something like this. Okay, so this is the empty button, it doesn't do anything. So I want to put text on top of this button, right? So I'm trying to put text on top of the button, but what we did, we just created a separate button in here. Is there something like, I don't really know, label tag? Does anybody know? Is there something like, well, there is something, it's probably non-existent. But one thing we can do is maybe click me label, right? So this is a click me label, and then I go into le CSS, and I want to repeat the same thing in here for click me label. So it will put it on top of this thing, but that didn't work exactly the way I expected it to work. So you have width and height and so on and so forth. This is just the text, right? So this is just the text. What if I make it div though? What if I make it div though? Yeah, so making it one class probably something that we want to do. So making it one class probably something we want to do, but I'm going to do that a little bit later. So can I put the background to... Oh, I have autocomplete for CSS. What the fuck? That's cool. Yeah, so that makes sense. But that doesn't make it centered. So let's have some sort of a class. So how should we call this specific class? Button. Not really button. It's a click me class. Yeah. So it's a position absolute, right? Then left, top, right, width. Yeah, so this is the entirety of this entire thing, right? So this is a click me class. The label itself is literally the same. So class, click me class, click me class. So both of them are this specific class. And inside in here, we can make it a div, right? Another div. And this is where we're going to center it one more time. Right, so this is going to be ID click me label, right? Click me label. So the ID click me label is going to be rather interesting. So it's going to also have position absolute, top left, like that. But the width and height is going to stay the same, right? So we're going to just keep it the same. That's much better. All right, is it even clickable in here? Can I even click? Oh, it's not really clickable through though. It's not really clickable through. Yeah. Is it possible to make it transparent, to make it click through? Yeah, so this doesn't work well, unfortunately. This doesn't work well. And by the way, so that just means that I can keep this as a class. Ooh, this one is interesting. You use the same class, but nested. And it didn't work. Fuck. All right. So CSS. That didn't work. But I thought it would work. Okay. So HTML, CSS. Make element click through. Is that a thing? Just div to label. Oh, and label is going to be click through? Really? So label are clicking through essentially, right? I'm not 100% sure, but nah, I don't really. Oh, you can also probably say no, when you click a label, it clicks the button. Ah, okay, so HTML labels. Yeah. So I think I understand what you guys are talking about. I think I understand. Geek for geeks. I don't know what the fuck is this one. Nice CSS, by the way. So it's a label for that thing. All right, so I need a better name for this class. Let's call this class something like center. Okay, so this is going to be center. This entire thing is center. So this one has to be labeled. Let's not put any class on it yet, but let's say for click me. All right, so, and this is going to be ID click me. All right, so is it going to now work? All right, that's kind of cool, but the button is not clickable anymore per se, which is rather interesting. Maybe because we have to make this thing a label. So what if I make this thing a label for click me? And then we're gonna have just a div in here, So that's much better. So you can actually have divs within this thing. And funnily enough, can I have just a center in here? Which kind of works, but not really. Which kind of works, but not really. Probably, excuse me, because of this extra scale. Probably because of this extra scale. If I remove the scale, yeah, I'm not sure why having center nested like that doesn't work. Use pointer events none on the label, but I mean it already kind of works for now. We already have this entire thing working, so that's totally fine. So I have a feeling that here I'll have to have another ID. So click me text, right? So this is a click me text, and in click me text, we kind of do similar thing, right? Like so. Click me text. Yeah, remove center. Okay. So I just open it to have it not cached. Yeah. And then I want to do the translation, but then it kind of fucked up something. Maybe it fucked up because of width and height. I suspect that it fucked up because of width and height. So probably, yeah, so that what happened. All right, so, and so somebody suggested pointer events none in the chat. Just a second, let me actually find it. Pointer events none. Thank you so much. I should give it a try. So let's put it on the label itself, right? Or maybe we should put it on the text. I think that will make a little bit more sense. Yeah, thank you so much whoever suggested that. That's really cool. Okay, so I think we're getting somewhere. I'm gonna enable this entire thing, and now, right now, click me. So this is the inner text, and instead of using click me directly, we have to probably use click me text. Replace click me inner text, replace it with click me text inner text. Okay, so this is that. Okay, so but for the rest of the click me stuff, we have to, yeah, mouse button down is that, left top, it's this thing. Okay, so let me now, that's a little bit better, I think. That's maybe a little bit better, but something obviously broke, right? So something obviously broke. So let's set it to 0. Okay. And it stopped working. It doesn't register click anymore. Click me. So what about click on click? Too high tech. I think that's much better. So it's shaking, but the text is not shaking. And the text is a little bit too big, in my opinion. I think the text is rather big. So can we maybe scale it down a little bit? So scale it maybe half on both of the ends. Yeah. And why does it do it like that? Why does it have such a small length? I'm not 100% sure. Maybe because, okay, so this is a width and height. Maybe I have to set width and height to 100% then. Width 100%, height to 100%. Yeah, that kind of fucked it up. So we'll probably want to keep it like this. But anyway. Okay. Okay, that's cool. All right, so I really like this idea. I really like the idea that the text actually stays the same, but it's only the button that is shaking. Text wrap, no wrap. We should give it a try. Okay. Okay. That's much better. So when the text was shaking, it was really difficult to read. Now it's a little bit nicer on your eyes. Right. It's not inside the button, so the text doesn't inherit the button width. Okay, that's understandable. So we can try to understand what exactly is going on in here. We are inside of the label, right? So inside of the label that uses center, and the center actually sets width and height the same. So let's actually take a look at what we have in here. Can I just put it like that? Can I just do it like that? Okay, so here is the label. And label is of the size of the button. Label is of the size of the button. And this entire thing is kind of weird in terms of its size. Right, so I'm not 100% sure like what exactly is going on, but sometimes, by the way, you manage to select something, which is also weird. So no pointer events. So we set it on the click me text, but I feel like we have to also set it into the wrapper. So my main problem here, by the way, is that I don't have an ID for the wrapper. Okay, so we're gonna have an ID for the button click me. This one is gonna be click me wrapper, right? So, and this one is gonna be click me text. And for the click me wrapper, we're gonna have special things as well. Right, so this is a click me wrapper, and I also want to have pointer events and whatnot. Right, so it still selects sometimes, you see? But it's kind of like a fucking but maybe it's because it's a Firefox. Maybe it's because it's a Firefox. So if I go into Chromium, right, I can't select shit in Chromium. All right, so that's much better. That's much better, I believe. So it's still a little bit weird, but this is CSS, right? So you're just like fighting with CSS until it kind of does what you want, but it never really does what you want. Is it high-pitched in other browsers? I don't know. Like I just tried it in a Chromium. It's that CSS reality. Yeah, exactly. It's a CSS reality. Okay, so what else I want you to do? I don't really like the counter being inside of the button. I think it's a little bit distracting. Right, it's a little bit distracting. So because as I basically try to convince you that clicking that button is pointless, I don't really want you to focus too much on this counter, right? It's kind of like it's kind of distracting. I think it has to be maybe somewhere here. Yeah, top right corner, exactly. But at the beginning, at the very beginning, it should not exist. That's the thing. It should not exist. Right. So it should appear. It should appear like right around here. You basically keep clicking, and then the counter suddenly appears, and it doesn't explain you what that counter is. It's just like it just appears, right? Right. Yeah. So that's a good idea. Okay, how are we gonna be doing all that? Add dots on every click instead, or something like that. Dots on every click. I'm not really sure what you mean. Okay, so but anyways, we need to go into the index.html, right? So we're gonna go into the index.html, and we already have a pop-up, by the way. We kind of already have a pop-up. Maybe I'm going to actually reform the pop-up to be that counter. So let's actually display it. Let's remove the display, and here is the pop-up. Let's move it to the right. So that means I'm gonna actually have like a 20% in here, and that's really weird. Yeah, so that's fine, actually. It's something like 5%, but if I put a 0%, I really wonder like why it is like that. Yeah, it changes differently. All right, so that's totally fine. So the width and height, what if it's going to be 200 pixels by 200 pixels? So this is what we have. That's the pop-up. And left and right, let's say 10 pixels. Maybe I should fixate the pixels. Maybe that's going to be a good idea. But I mean, it's going to look bad on different, what is it called? Different monitors with different resolution and stuff like that. So probably not going to do that. All right, so what about 100 by 100? 100 by 100. Okay, so that's cool. So we also have pop-up text, index HTML. In the pop-up text, we should have some sort of a number. It's going to be 69. And so what's going to be the size of the font? Is there like a font size? Yeah, okay, so there is a font size, 48 pixels, 69, something like this. And let's remove the background in here. So we're not going to have any background, so it's going to be 69. And as of right now, let's just keep it like that. Let's just keep it like that. And yeah, so if I change it to 0, it's going to be fine. And then it's going to be 69. All right, so that's very good. Now, originally, display is going to be none. Display none. So we don't see that. Let's put it like this. And in here, when we are start showing the counter, we do pop-up text maybe. So it is called pop-up text. Let's call it like this. So it is a valid JavaScript identifier. Pop-up text. So this is a valid JavaScript text style display. What's the opposite of display? None. I don't remember. Display. It says display. So it's one of these motherfuckers. Okay, let's actually put block then. Right, so maybe it's gonna be fine as a block, which means, by the way, we have to remove this thing from all of the texts from now on. So we have to just remove it because now we have that as a counter. So I'm gonna take this thing and on click. So by the way, we have to change it to on mouse down. It stopped working after separating button and label. Okay, so this is a pop-up inner text, and inner text is counter, I suppose. We can just set a counter like that. Maybe after we incremented it. So we first increment the counter, we set the pop-up to that, and then we fire the events, and the firing of the events will actually fire one of these events. So I think that's the way to go in here. Okay. Broke something. Fucking, how did I broke something? Huh? I don't even know at which point I broke something. Freaking web, I swear to God. Is that because oh my God. So where did I fucking broke things? So pop-up text, classic web. Yeah, exactly. Like I didn't even touch that part of anything and it suddenly broke. Like I didn't do anything, bro. Bro, I didn't do anything. Fuck off. Fuck off. Did it maybe throw an exception? Just a second, chat. Maybe it threw an exception, so maybe I can take a look at what's going on here. So let's take a look. Bro, throw exception at least. Something with a click wrapper. Maybe it's something with a click wrapper. Look, but I don't remember touching it at all. Bro, this is so annoying. Fuck you, web. Okay, so yeah, click me text is not defined, and that's totally fine, by the way. So pop-up, we're gonna be setting the pop-up. Yeah, so it's the lack of the click me text. And if I enable this particular thing, will that work? Well, I mean, it's just like it creates this stuff. What? Bro, what the fuck? Yeah. Okay. So this is definitely something with a wrapper. This is definitely something with a wrapper. And I think I know what it is. Yeah. So I should have not done something like this. Pointer events, no, it's not needed here. All right. And yeah. And also get rid of all of that stuff. No, it's not that. Fuck you. Excuse me? What? This is bizarre, bro. Fuck web, honestly. Fuck web. So in Emacs doesn't ID click me text. What the fuck are you talking about? It's ID click me wrapper. No. Ah. Yeah. All right. I see. All right. So let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Ah, it didn't show. Fuck. It didn't show shit. It didn't show shit. So index HTML, pop-up text. Yeah, it didn't start showing it all of a sudden. So I don't really know what's up with that. Okay, so let me take a look. So this is a pop-up block display. And usually it should show, but then where is it? How do you make it show? Right, chat. Do we have any professional web devs in the chat? Do we have any professional web devs? So essentially, pop-up text block, but it didn't work. That's the thing. Use visibility instead. Okay, let's give it a try. So originally it is 0, and as I click it, it is incrementing. Okay, so CSS visibility. Visibility. Okay, so and then I can do visibility hidden. Boom. Visible. Okay, that's perfect. Thank you so much. So visibility hidden, and in the game, pop-up text visibility visible. All right, cool. Let's fucking go. Okay. Okay. So I don't really like capitalization of this thing. I don't really like capitalization. So we're gonna have the next counter is gonna be somewhere here. All right. So the next counter is gonna be somewhere here. So we're gonna say, so it's gonna be at 30. Right. It's gonna be at 30. Is there anything that you are not getting anything for clicking it? All right, so okay, click me. This thing appears. I think every 5, like doing a reward or text change every 5 is actually kind of enough. Make the sound drum. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. So I think it doesn't do anything but farts. Actually started a little bit too fast. I think we should actually sparse them out a little bit, like at 10. All right, so because at some point when people realize that there's something more, they're gonna start actually clicking faster, right? They're gonna start clicking faster. So do the cursor. Yeah, we can just do something like having fun. And how do you set the cursor to something? Okay, so CSS set cursor. Oh my god, are you okay? Okay, so cursor properties. This is stupid. Custom cursor image. External images for CSS, but I mean emoji. So cursor URL poop PNG. So you literally telling me that I can just do cursor and literally emoji and it will work. I'm not a web developer, I don't really know actually, but let's give it a try. So where is the emoji? Can I copy paste emoji somehow from this? I can't copy paste emoji, bro. Can I insert emoji? Is that a thing? I can't insert emoji. Okay, so peach emoji. Can I have a peach emoji, please? Okay, thank you so much. Finally, I'm able to copy paste it. Oh, Emacs even, displays it. So how can I do that? Can I do body style cursor? Or maybe let's just do that on a click me style. I'm gonna set, okay, it's equal to peach. Will that work? So you're telling me this is going to work? You're telling me this is going to work? I don't believe you, by the way. I think you're debating me. Think you're debating me? Yeah. Yeah, you debated me. You literally debated me. Okay, so I do not appreciate that, but it is what it is. How can I thought it was a Wikipedia. Can I go to Wikipedia, then open the SVG, and then can I say URL? Maybe even something like this. Is that something I can do? It was chat hallucinating, yeah. So CSS style cursor. Basic HTML and CSS cursor pointer. Yeah, you can literally do URL and then the image. I wonder if it can be external image. Didn't do anything, unfortunately. Okay, and maximum 128 by, okay, we can try to maybe do something about that. All right, so main CSS, I want to double check if I put it into click me text. Let's put it into click me text. So cursor like that, and let me see. Yeah, doesn't work. Does it throw any exceptions or warnings or anything like that? I didn't see any warnings in here, so maybe on the network it tried to download. It didn't even try to download it. That's the funny part. Yeah, it didn't even try to download it. So, but one thing we can try to do, we can try to download it. wget. So here is that, and I can try to convert to emoji PNG. Convert, and this is the PNG. Ah, fuck. So you have to set background to this to none, otherwise it's not going to work. That seems to be working. What's the size of the whole thing? Is 48 by 48. Okay, so that's very cool. And then in main CSS, we're gonna put this kind of stuff in here. Didn't work. Does it have to be without the things? Didn't work. Do I have to put that in a body? Didn't work. Chat, why you keep fucking debating me? Why you keep fucking debating me? This is not cool. So, and also this thing debated me for whatever freaking reason, because it's a duck, you know, duck AI. So cursor URL, well, yeah, you should be able to do this kind of thing, so I don't fucking know. So that's not correct. You can set cursor pointer. Ah, you have to do the pointer thing. Pointer, okay. No! Oh, well, at least it okay, so chat, look, at least it downloaded it. At least it downloaded it. So, right, so, but it's for the body. Okay, if I go to click me text, this is going fucky wacky. Is that because it's a Firefox? What about Chromium? So, no, it doesn't work. URL auto, maybe it has to be auto. Doesn't work. Like I don't know. Like it downloads it. It actually downloads this thing. So here's the image. You can't really see because it's freaking stupid. Yeah, so here it is. It downloaded it in request, but it doesn't set it to anything. It's just like so you set it for pointer, now use the pointer. Okay. I freaking know. Cursor might be restricted to 128 pixels. But I mean, it's less than that. It is less. It's 48 but 40 by 48. So that's the thing. It's already 48 by 48. So if it has to be exactly 128 but 128, it has to be exactly. Could button be okay, whatever. So no, it doesn't have to be exactly. System, okay, style cursor, custom image. What about Google? I kind of stopped using Google because it's stupider, but maybe that's fine. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, bro. Fuck you. That's what I'm talking about. So what's up with that? So it has to be auto. So it wasn't working because your image was too big. Well, I mean, it's not too big. In Firefox, for example, the size 128 by 128. So additionally, you also have to add auto. All right, so let's take a look at this JS fiddle. All right. And it doesn't work. Maybe it's because of Firefox. You see, like it generally doesn't work in my browser. Maybe that's what's going on here actually. So in Chromium, maybe it's just my system doesn't allow that. It could be actually that. It could be actually, like I have a really weird system. So let's abandon this idea for now. Let's abandon this idea. It's not Arch, it's actually Void. So, but it's not that different, right? It's not that different. Okay, whatever. It's kind of an interesting idea, but we can explore it later. Try to make it less. I'm not gonna try anything. I already wasted too much time on it. Okay. So what we've got in here. So, yeah, that seems to be working. Got you. And on 50, we can do some shit like that. So I'm already streaming for 2 hours. Dude. All right. So we can say something like congrats, you clicked it, and we can say something like counter times. Yeah. So then 16, nice. Nice. Then on 60, on 70, we're gonna continue doing the same thing. Right, so this is gonna be 70, something like that. All right, so let's see. Absolute bad using. So yeah, let's maybe publish it. I don't fucking know. Let's freaking publish it, whatever. And let's let people to maybe submit pull requests and stuff like that. Yeah, so let's just continue. Okay, git init. Yeah, let's put it like this. Okay, and yeah, I'm gonna just like submit everything and just ready, set, go. Let's go to here. Let me see. So this is gonna be a button. Website, just a website with a button. So by default, it's not gonna be private. Let's make it public. Let's create the repo, and yeah, where is that? So I'm gonna add origin like this, and let's make it pushable as well. Let's push that right into le repo. Okay, so here is the le repo for everyone, and let's actually deploy it on GitHub pages. So that's what we're gonna be doing in here. So pages, where is the pages? Okay, so this is the pages. No, fuck you. Okay, GitHub pages. Okay, deploy branch main, save that. All right, so we need to wait a little bit, by the way, chat. We need to wait a little bit until it actually deploys. Okay, it is deploying as of right now. You see, it is deploying. Okay, so it's doing its thing. I wonder if it's going to work well. Oh, I've got an idea, chat. What if at certain counter you unlock dark theme? So that would be actually kind of cool. Yeah, PR. Feel free to PR, but keep it small, please. Keep it small. So don't like implement like a whole huge thing with thousands of stuff and just say, review me. Review me completely, please. Review me. No, don't be like that. Submit like very small things, like several hundred lines of changes, right? So don't submit thousands and 10,000s. Nobody's gonna fucking review that. Right, so it's gonna be simple. Okay, so it seems to be like it's done. So let's fucking go there. Bro, how can I go there? Can I just fucking... I don't know how to go there. So button, le button. Okay, there we go. So here's the le button for everyone. And I developed that live on stream without using any ChatGPT or anything like that. But I mean, I used the search engine, which had a little bit of a GPT embedded into it, but yeah, so let me know. Do you like this? Do you like this thing? Is it engaging enough? Is it fun? Right? Because that's what creating tech content on the internet in 2025 means, right? So people like to accuse me that I don't make anything useful. Well, there you go. That's a very useful application. It actually helps you with your depression. Every time you feel depressed, just go to this website and click this button a couple of times, and your depression just goes away. So that's actually useful for humanity, I believe so. It's actually a useful application. Right, so next time somebody says, oh, you haven't shipped anything useful, there we go. I ship these things to hundreds of users. There's hundreds of users right now in the chat. You all are clicking this button. I ship this thing to 600 people simultaneously. So I guess that's it for today. Thanks everyone who's watching right now. I really appreciate that. Have a good one, and I see you all on the next recreation programming session with Mr. Azuzin. I love you all.